Hi, I'm Raven Pamiloza from 104N, and I'm here to teach you about fermentation. But I know some of you might be wondering, what is fermentation? Fermentation is an enzyme catalyzed metabolic process whereby organisms convert starch or sugar to alcohol or an acid and aerobically releasing energy. The science of fermentation is called zymology. There are two types of fermentation: homofermentation, where only one type of product is formed, and lastly, the heterofermentation, where more than one product are formed. So here, we have the fermentation pathway. We have the glucose, which is a simple sugar produced via photosynthesis and used as a source of energy. And then pyruvic acid, which ferments to produce alcohol during anaerobic fermentation. Anaerobic bacteria are bacteria that do not live or grow when oxygen is present. Lactic acid fermentation. Nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide is a coenzyme for redox reaction, making it central to energy metabolism. Aspergillus is a fungus widely used in traditional fermentation industries, including soy sauce. Filamentous fungi generally have the ability to produce various and vast amounts of enzymes in a secretory manner. Next is the lactobacillus bacteria, which prefer curd milk via this type of fermentation. During intense exercise, when oxygen supply is inadequate, muscles derive energy by producing lactic acids, which gets accumulated in the cells, causing fatigue. An example of this is cheese and yogurt. Moving on to the next fermentation process, we have yeasts, which is one of the first domesticated microorganisms, Saccharomyces, which is one type of yeast that converts carbohydrates into alcohol and carbon dioxide. Alcohol fermentation is used in the industrial production of wine, beer, etc. The end product is alcohol and carbon dioxide. And now we have the Saccharomyces. It is a genus of fungi that includes many species of yeasts. Ethanol and carbon dioxide alcohol is produced when the yeast ferment the sugar. An example of this is beer. Next up, we have ethanol, which is a product of sugar converted into alcohol and carbon dioxide. Yeast are responsible for this process and oxygen is not necessary. An example of this is wine. And lastly, we have the CO2 or carbon dioxide, which is a gas produced by the yeast during fermentation that creates fizz or condition characteristic of beer. In the anaerobic fermentation process, yeast convert the sugar into wort, primarily CO2. An example of this is bread.